Hi there everyone and welcome to AdvancePro University. Today we're going to be taking a look at our custom barcode features within AdvancePro. So let's jump straight into AdvancePro. What these features are for is so that you can work with barcodes that might contain more than one piece of information all at once. We're going to touch just briefly on the standard barcoding options. To enable these you're going to come to Admin, Utilities, Barcoding. And by default, this is going to allow you to put in a scanner search, working with a scanner when you're receiving or shipping or picking and packing here in AdvancePro Desktop. This is going to work great if you're looking to use a USB or a Bluetooth scanner with AdvancePro, either on a tablet or a desktop. Okay. Now you'll see down here that we've got some settings that will enable printing a barcode that can be scanned to quickly find the vendor order or the customer order. So we're going to go ahead and enable those. If you don't see these settings, if the screen is blanked out and you're just waiting on a product key, please reach out to your AdvancePro advisor and we'd be happy to help you get that information all set up. So just to touch on what this function normally looks like, if we come to the warehouse to receive some goods, we'll go into an order to receive. We'll go ahead and open that up. And we're going to see that we have this scanner search area enabled now. And if we print our document, we're actually going to see that barcode showing up as well. So here's the barcode that's available for you to go ahead and scan this item, this sheet, so that you can quickly find the order in AdvancePro. So here, as you're going to be using the scanner, you're going to go ahead and click into picking location. If you have picking locations enabled, you'll see this. You can go ahead and scan that picking location, so we recommend having a barcode on the shelf of your picking location, or you can select it from a list. Now over here on the scanner search, we're going to go ahead and actually scan that SKU in. So if you are using a scanner, you can scan that barcode in. You're going to be looking for this information. You can also work by UPC, or for a vendor order, you can work with the vendor SKU. We're going to work with the main SKU, and I'm just going to go ahead and type these in. There it is. So you'll see that when I scan this in, 1 gets added to my count, and I can do it again if I want to, and then I can go ahead and bring these in. Now it must be an order that appears, it must be an item that appears on the order. You can over-receive, you can under-receive, but the item must appear on the order, and you will get an alert if you are receiving more than the quantity that you should in this case. Now, this is very handy for scanning if you're just working with SKUs, but you might want to work with a lot number. You might want to be scanning in boxes that have a quantity attached to them. So we're going to go ahead and talk about how to scan multiple pieces of information at once rather than scanning these items one by one. And you'll see this is very similar functionality when you go to pick. You scan the picking location or you choose it from a list, then you scan those items out of that picking location. Let's go ahead and close this. Let's head back over to Admin, Utilities, Barcoding. Now we're going to come in and we're going to talk about the custom barcode. And the custom barcode is a tool where you can configure for a particular vendor in this case all of the different settings that you might want. And we're going to simplify this in a couple of ways. We're going to start here just with the UPC. So we have some settings available. We're going to kind of clear this out just so that it's nice and clear early on what we're dealing with. So we have a UPC that's going to, it starts at 0. So we're looking at the position. This is just a character count as to where this information is going to start, and length. So if we're using this setting, and there is another setting that's a little bit more intelligent, if we're using this setting, the character amount for each piece of information must always be the same. So here we're looking at the UPC. It starts in position 0, so the first digit, and it has a length of 8. So then when we look at the quantity, which we're going to add next, we need a length of, we're going to have a position of 8 because we started at 0, so the last one would be 7. First one here would be 8. We're going to come over and we're going to give that a length of 3. So I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to have, we're going to go ahead and update that, and we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is our UPC. The item 1 here is in position 0. Item 8 is in position 7. So starting on position 8, we now have the quantity. We're going to bring in 102 of them. And when I click enter now, AdvancePro is going to go ahead and use this setting that we've gone ahead and set up. and it's going to break that up into the pieces of information that it needs to bring those in. So we can see it brought in a UPC that should match, and a quantity. So it's actually, instead of one at a time, it's going to scan in 102 when it scans this barcode. So that's just a little bit. Let's take another step up. Let's put in a lot number. So we start in position 8. We're going to add 3 to that to say the lot number starts on position 11. Then we're going to come into the length. The length here, let's say it's 4. And you know what? Let's also do an expiration date. So that position is going to start in position 15, and it's actually going to have a length of 8. And we'll talk about your options here for a format. So let's go ahead here. So here we've actually specified this format. The first 2 digits are the month, second 2 digits are the day, and the last 2 digits are the last 4 digits are the year in this particular format. It's not required that you have a 4-digit year, but there it is. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what this might look like. So we're going to do how we started, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 102 units. But now they're all going to go into a lot, and that lot is going to be 0987. That's our lot number. And the expiration date, let's say it's 03/17/2018. So the 17th of March 2018. Let's hit enter. So there it is. It broke it all up for us. It put our date in date format. And this way we could actually bring in that lot number. We can bring in that UPC number. We can bring in that quantity all in one swoop. Now, a couple of things I want to point out about this. First off, when we talk about a scanner, scanners and keyboards, you can see me typing in today, scanners and keyboards work in very, very similar ways. A scanner essentially looks at what's in a barcode, it takes the contents of that barcode and it sticks it in a field, and then it presses enter. So when I type this in and press enter and it takes an action, a scanner that you're working with in front of you is going to behave in the exact same way. Now, the other thing we can do here is we can only associate one custom barcode per vendor. So if your vendor sends you barcodes in different formats, you may have to set up a secondary vendor to handle each format. And you can only have one format, one set of rules here for your custom barcode to ship on. So what we recommend, if you do have items coming in multiple formats, that you create a label for them, that you apply that label, and that label be used as the custom barcode to ship. You might even be giving them a label as they're received, so you actually scan on your own label. That's up to you, but just keep that in mind, that it's one per vendor. And so if the order of these changes for different products, that could cause a problem. So the next option here, this makes it a little bit smarter. We're going to use the delimiter option. So you'll see all our lengths just disappeared. What this does is it says the lengths of these sections, of these different pieces of information, they're variable. So we're going to say there's a hyphen that goes in. And that hyphen is what's going to tell us where one piece of information ends and the next one begins. So instead of saying our position by character here, we're actually going to say our position just in terms of the order of the information. So we still start at 0, but now the quantity is just in position 1. We're going to say the lot number is in position 2, and the expiration date is now in position 3. Okay? So now we're just going to go in and we're going to break up our information with hyphens. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead and cut that up. We're going to update this. We're going to paste it back in. We'll hit enter. So now you'll see that it still found that information, but what I can do is I can have a different length for my various pieces of information. And it still intelligently goes and finds those pieces of information and breaks them up to be used when you receive or when you ship. So this is one more way that you can use that feature. Okay, and here you can see apply to pick, pack, ship. That applies it to your shipping. So you would take this rule and apply it to pick, pack, shipping. You can see up here you can apply this below setting to all active vendors, and then you can update it and it goes to all your vendors. Or you can have it just for this one vendor. So there's lots of different options here. So I hope this gives you just a taste of that custom barcode capability. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to actually show you what this might look like by going back to our order and attempting to receive with this information. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to copy this again. let's go to our warehouse. We're going to go into orders to receive. We're going to open up our order from before, and instead of SKU, we may need to make sure that we're working with the vendor that we've actually applied this to. Here we go. And you'll see now if we have a vendor applied, the default is our custom barcode. We, in this case, still do have to pick our picking location. And we can go ahead and paste this in. Now we're not going to hit enter because our SKU or our UPC won't necessarily match here. So what I want to do is I want to find the UPC, or set the UPC for T-shirt RS in this case. So here, 215-3213, that's what we want. So let's go ahead and put that, 215-3213. So let's just take a look. We'll see how good my memory is. We're going to come over to the warehouse. We're going to open up orders to receive, and we're going to open up that particular order from that vendor with the custom barcode enabled. And we're going to try and receive that T-shirt red small. So we're going to come in, and if I remember correctly, it is 215-3213. Easy enough. So there it is. And we're actually going to receive 10 of them with a lot number and an expiration date. Let's just see what we can do. So I'm going to click enter. Oh, forces me to pick a picking location. That's a good thing. Let's go ahead and put that in. Let's try it one more time. We're going to go 215-3213. So clearly I have failed in some way with our configuration. Let's just try a simpler version just to show you how this can be applied out. So we're going to come into our barcoding module once again, and I'm going to make it just a little bit simpler for our barcoding for this one. First off, we're going to be not looking at UPC, we're going to be looking at SKU. That should make it a lot easier. Now we're going to, instead of trying to remember that UPC, it'll be right in front of us with the SKU. We've got the lot number, we've got a quantity, and in this case, we are also going to have an expiration date. Let's give that a shot. So we'll go ahead and open up that vendor order one more time. We'll go ahead and paste in our additional, our initial order, and we're going to go ahead and put in, our SKU actually has a hyphen in it. So this is another thing you want to be aware of, is our delimiter is a hyphen in this case, so that's not going to work. Let's actually just work with a different SKU in this case, just to keep things nice and simple. So we'll do a Dremel order. There we go, nice and easy. We'll go ahead and place that. So these are things to think of if you're going to be designing your custom barcode. You want to make sure that those are included and that you've thought about the way that your SKUs are lined out. If you're using a hyphen as a delimiter, you won't be able to use a hyphen within your SKU. So here we go. Here's our order. Oh, it's a different order. We're going to go to receive. There we are. Here's our order, and we can go ahead and put this information in now. But the SKU is going to be DREM001. And I need to pick a picking location. There we go. So it's a little bit more practical when you're out in a warehouse. There we go. DREM001. Received. So there it received 10 of them. It found the right items, and you'll see a lot in serial is checked off, like we've gone ahead and entered that in. And I can take a look. When we receive this, you'll see that this has also got its correct expiration date in. So I'm going to go ahead and receive these goods. It's going to have me put in a bill or a reference number. There we go. That's happy. Okay. There we are. So we happened to receive more than we ordered, so it was a little grumpy about that. But everything is in, and it's in its picking locations now. Let's head over to Manage Inventory. And we're going to look up our item. And in this case, since we're using multiple warehouses, we'll choose our warehouse. There we are. So now we have lot and serials for one of them. Let's go ahead and open that up. So our lot and serial that we're looking for is that 0987, expiring on March 17th, 2018. There it is. So that's a little bit about how you might go about configuring that custom barcode. Now, something to be aware of is we also have a labeling solution. So if you're interested in getting to this point where you can have a custom barcode, either for something that you're working with externally or internally, we highly recommend AP Label. An AP Label is a tool that can look at the information in AdvancePro and generate barcodes. It's a very, very useful tool. We're going to bring it up right now. So this uses a solution we call Bartender, and it connects into your AdvancePro database, and we will create custom labels based on your needs. So I'm going to bring this up to show you some labels that are easy to create, and we can do these in a lot of different ways. So here's one that has a lot number and a quantity in separate barcodes. Here we could actually have a custom barcode where we actually have several pieces of information. So here we've got a SKU and a variant that you'd be able to bring in. So we can have these as multiple barcodes, or we can merge them. We can have it pull this information from AdvancePro's database, or we can have it generate information just based on some rules that you've given us. So these are highly, highly customizable. All these different labels. You can print them off here, scan them into AdvancePro. As you're shipping, you can scan them right back out. It's a really good way to give each product within your system a license plate that tells you what's going on with that product and shows all the important information that you might need at a glance, whether you're looking at AdvancePro or looking at the product itself somewhere in your warehouse. So this concludes our quick tour today of the AdvancePro barcoding capabilities. Thank you all for watching.